So our next speaker is a professor at the University of the Philippines in Mindanao and served as the first Balik scientist of the DOST Advanced Science and Technology Institute, or ASTI, with engagements in 2017 to 2018 doing artificial intelligence and robotics research. So in 2019, last year, he concluded a year-long term as a visiting researcher at the Research into Artifacts Center for Engineering, or RACE, of the University of Tokyo, where he was previously a postdoctoral research fellow and briefly an assistant professor. Before that, he worked in the energy industry building high pressure, high temperature downhole tools as an electrical design engineer. He was also a formerly a faculty member of the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, or EEI, Triple EI now, of the University of the Philippines in Diliman. So he obtained his BS and MS in Electrical Engineering degrees from UP Diliman and his PhD from the University of Tokyo, with a dissertation on the scheduling of multiple intelligent systems. His primary research interests are mobile robotics, artificial intelligence, algorithms, and optimization. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Jose Ildefonso Rubrico.
Uh, Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Pros, for that kind introduction. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So, my presentation for today will not be technical. It will be more of a
You
personal journey.
you would
Oh,
like to.
sorry.
It's
I'll
okay.
just turn off the video maybe to conserve bandwidth. Is that
Uh,
okay?
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh,
Go ahead.
yes. It's more of a personal journey in AI and robotics for me, which relates to the theme of the symposium, which is outreach to Philippine regions. I will not cover explicitly on the AI ethics, okay, ethics of AI, but as you can see, there are many ethical concerns for my research as well as for other professors and other people who are engaged, the research and work of other people engaged in AI and robotics. So first, let's put some context on why AI and robotics is becoming more popular now. In the next 10 years, it is expected to be a half a trillion US dollar market worldwide, with the top applications in these fields. As you can see, autonomous cars are there, and medical and personal robotics, as well as smart drones, are also there. Uh, and currently, we already have systems that exhibit a high degree of autonomy. For example, we have self-driving cars, and we also have robots like this, humanoid robots that 10 or 20 years ago were unimaginable to have these kinds of capabilities. Uh, okay, so the AI is going to pervade our lives not only in the technical fields but even in the arts. For example, this painting was generated by an artificial intelligent software in the style of Van Gogh. And these faces over here are not real people, but people created by an AI software system. Okay, so this is just a little bit about me and how I started in AI and robotics. So, as mentioned by Professor Naval, I was a faculty member and I was trained in the UP Triple E for both my MS and my BS. in electrical engineering degrees. And I was lucky to be one of the pioneers way back in the 90s to do autonomous robotics. So basically, I founded the UP Mobile Robotics Laboratory in the Triple E. And during that time, we sort of MacGyvered our robots. If you're old enough like me, you would know what the term MacGyvered mean. Uh, so you can see here some robots that look like toys, but actually they are all self-contained and bona fide autonomous mobile robots. So this guy over here at the top is named Seven, okay, for the number seven, and basically it does simple exploration and obstacle avoidance by itself. Okay, the one over here is also the same as Seven, but also does additionally does automatic speed control in various terrain. In this particular case, it is tested in rough terrain. And these little guys in the center, are basically the finals requirements of my students before in an advanced in the senior robotics class. They're called sumo robots. So parang nagsusumo sila dun sa ring. Okay. And then later on, I went to the University of Tokyo, and my research there involved uh, mostly things related to manufacturing and logistics with the application of robotics and deep learning, basically. So, and I also had a chance to work with some graduate students who were building drones, and in this particular case, a blimp. So this particular blimp is a prototype that was used in the Home for the Aged in Japan, because they have a lot of those, and it's used to monitor the expressions of the residents, whether they're happy or they're sad or they're pleased when there are events in the home. Okay, so and then fast forward 20 years, I returned. Well, since I was in the UPEEE, I returned back here as a balik scientist, and the main purpose was to do grassroots efforts in artificial intelligence and robotics. And for that, I was involved with, I engaged in two research projects with the Advanced Science and Technology Institute of the DOST. So the projects were ALAM and AI Robot. Uh, Project ALAM, the main objective is the automated identification of natural and man-made objects in satellite images. And for the AI Robot, we explored building prototypes for rescue and recovery missions with a focus on edge computing, meaning all of your computational hardware and software are on the robot itself. So basically, so let me just discuss a little bit about the ALAM project. So the idea of the ALAM project is basically we have a lot of remote sensing data just sitting around, and we want to use that data so that we can build models that can be useful for application builders. So if we want to use that data to train models so that when we have new data, we already just have the models and input the data, and we sort of get rid of the manual part of the pipeline. Okay, so it's basically allowing for data processing tractability when your data becomes really large. So it's scalable processing. And when we were doing this research, essentially we did classification, and so we were able to achieve these kinds of accuracies for uh, four main categories. And for large images, we did some kind of segment coarse kind of segmentation or zoning. So here's an example for a city in the south, which is Digos. We did some classification and what we term pseudo segmentation to separate the zones. So the yellow part are the water area. The light green parts are the urban areas. The dark green parts are the treed areas, mga kahoy, and then yung the dark blue parts are the fields, agricultural areas. So, and then we also did object detection. So detection, basically, in this case, we enclosed a face in a box. Okay, in this particular case, and then we developed a prototype based on the Fivolx Redas project, where we had a brief collaboration, and essentially we used their data to train our models to to try to evaluate what kind of structures, the strength of the structures that we would see in an overhead image. So this relates to earthquake, damage, assessment, and survivability. Okay, so these are just some sample results that we got before. So the W means this is a weak structure. For example, parang barong-barong or payag in Bisaya. And then we have some medium strong structures, the usual houses. Okay, and then we have a vehicle here that was identified, and we also have like strong structures like those that are made of concrete. So this is just a prototype, and this is not really something that we can deploy in the field right now. But it sort of proves that we can do these kinds of things even with what we already have now, subject to some restrictions, of course. Okay, and for AI robot, basically the idea was to build a robot that would try to detect either survivors or casualties during natural disasters, because it's very often that human first responders that are sent to in the aftermath of natural disasters become victims themselves. So this effort or this initiative is also is part of the goal is really to save lives. Okay, so for the Balik Scientist prototype, we were able to do the things that were underscored in yellow. And this is basically due to financial limitations and time limitations. So this is what we were able to do. And let me just go directly to the demo. This was done last year in a convention. This is the robot that we built. Okay, and the demo here shows that it is able to detect people and some other objects in real time or near real time. So, okay. So this is also a proof of concept that shows that a robot like this, everything, all the hardware and the software are on the robot itself. It is autonomous and self-contained, can do these kinds of things. Okay. And one of the main, basically, points of this robot is that it is just like our robots before 20 years ago. It's dirt cheap. It's not, the cost of this robot is essentially cheaper than the cost of a single video card by NVIDIA, okay, that you can buy for your PC. So what happens from there after the Balik Scientist stint? Okay, so now we made some proposals based on the research for the Balik Scientist research, and we proposed them, and the automated labeling machine was proposed, and eventually it became the Philippine Sky Artificial Intelligence Program, or SkyPinas. So SkyPinas is composed of basically two functional components, the ALAM component and the Datos 2.0 component, which is the operational part and the operational research part, while the ALAM part is sort of the basic research and the developmental research part of the SkyPinas program. And this program has already been approved by the DOST and will begin next year in 2021. So we were supposed to begin this year, but due to the COVID pandemic and the Bayanihan app, we were postponed to next year. And the robotics initiative is now under DOST evaluation. So essentially, it's AI-enhanced aerial and ground robots for search and rescue missions. So right now we are addressing the recommendations of the Shared Governing Council. So hopefully this also will push through. And for UP Mindanao, one of the big objectives there is to have a college of engineering. And so what we are trying to do now is fast track a masteral program in electrical engineering and computer science. So EECS, similar to what you have in MIT and UC Berkeley. This combination of EE and CS is actually very strong in developing core programs and core competencies in ICT. So we would like this EECS program to be a feeder program to a College of Engineering that will be strong in ICT. And through the projects that we have with the OST and other funding agencies, and through the existing faculty in um, in the Department of Mathematics, Physics, and Computer Science, uh, we are supporting this EECS program. And right now, we are also seeking the support of local and foreign experts who can serve as professors in this program. So far, we have enlisted a couple from the Triple E department, and probably we are going to enlist also one from the UP Diliman Computer Science department. So Professor Naval, wink, wink. Uh, so hopefully this engineering program in UP Mindanao can help address the needs of Mindanao and the country at large. And some other things that have been done, AI and robotics in the classroom, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a first in UP Mindanao. So this was last year in the introduction to AI course, where where I introduced a simple robot as part of their requirements. So yes. So let me end my presentation, which sort of tends towards the ethics of AI with Isaac Asimov's three laws of robotics. Thank you very much.
Hello, Joe. Thanks, Joe, for that very nice tour of robotics and their applications to healthcare, environment, particularly in the analysis of satellite data for disaster recovery and the like. And congratulations for successfully bagging that Sky Sky Pinas project. We also wish you all the best in setting up the ECS program in the future College of Engineering in UP Mindanao. So those who are interested in helping Dr. Joe, please let him know. And also thank you for inviting me. Let's talk
You are
about it.
strongly invited, Professor Naval.
Talk about it over coffee one of these days.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
great.
you.
Thanks. Again, if you have questions, please use the chat box, and later on I'll open the floor for anyone, so they could ask questions to the speakers directly.